everybody, welcome back to Let's Talk. My name is John, and today here on the channel, we're going to be talking about 1995's Haine and its brand new Criterion Collection 4K Blu-ray that just came out. And this is actually the first time I had ever seen Haine directed by Mathieu Kassovitz, who also wrote this movie. He actually started writing this film in 1993. On the day he started to write this film, a young person was killed in custody, in police custody, while tied to a radiator, and he was inspired to write this movie, and then eventually he got this film made. And I had never seen this film before. This was a first-time watch for me. This was a recommendation from a subscriber to the channel who has never let me down in the past. They have actually been giving me a ton of great foreign film recommendations, including this one, and their name is 021OM6, and I want to thank you so much for this recommendation. This was great. And this film is basically just a day-in-the-life movie. It's a French film. It takes place in a suburb of France. You know, you can see the Eiffel Tower way in the distance. It's not that kind of France, but they do head to Paris for the first time in this film, these characters. It's three main characters. It takes place the day after a riot in the place that they live. Three friends who come from three different backgrounds, but they're three friends, and one of their other friends right now is in very bad critical condition. They got pretty beaten up the night before in the riots, and during the riots the night before, one of the police officers lost their guns. They're out there looking for it, and one of the main characters in this film, it turns out, actually ended up finding that gun, and now they're carrying it around. That is a big plot point in this movie as well. But like I said, this movie is really just a day in the life of these three characters, what they do on their daily basis, obviously dealing with the riot that happened the night before, but that's not really what we're there for. This movie is labeled a crime thriller, but really this is more of a drama film in my opinion. Yes, there are some thrilling moments in this movie, and it does feature crime, but really this movie is more of a dramatic film, really just showing us these characters, what they have to deal with, what they have to deal with in their world. Honestly, what they're talking about in this film rings very true in 2024 America. We're talking about racial issues, we're talking about poverty, you know, low income areas, the differences in income, how people have to survive on different levels of income, how we just oppress certain people. You know, we're talking about police brutality in this film. That's a big subject matter in this film. So it rings very true today, and we're talking about it in a different country. We're talking about this in France in the 1990s, and these are issues that they were dealing with. So it's a peek into a different life that a lot of us might not know or even realize, and it's very, very fascinating. It's also very, very brutal, and it really does make you appreciate your own life because other people on this planet have to live lives like this every single day, and they're able to capture it in this film with, by the way, beautiful black and white. The cinematography in this film is amazing, and I was not expecting that at all. Not only is the black and white gorgeous, one of the best looking black and white films that I had ever seen in my entire life, but it's also very, very cinematic. The shots in this movie, the way that the camera is moving around. You've seen that very famous shot in Joy's where Roy Scheider, where he's on the beach and we zoom in really fast on him and he's got that shocked look on his face. Well, what they're doing is they're zooming out with the camera and pushing it at the exact same time, or the reverse of that is, you know, we're pulling back with the camera while also zooming in. And this movie features a very similar shot, but it's a little bit more slowed down, but it's just as beautiful. And again, we're doing this in black and white. There's also some fantasy scenes in this, like little dream sequences where another character might be envisioning something, and the way they snap into it and snap out of it is also just so awesome. The needle drops that are featured in this film are all great choices as well. It's so well acted. I mean, you believe that these characters aren't characters. You believe that these are real people, like almost documentary film style, but because this movie is just so beautiful, like I was saying, the cinematography, this is a very cinematic film while telling this very dark and gritty story. It's still just so cinematic. Like the close-ups in this movie are some of the best that I have ever seen, and that's very hard for an actor to do. That's how you know they did such a great job with this. You have to stare into the camera and act. Think about that. Like looking into the camera and having to portray a character, that is very difficult, and they did that just so well in this movie. I just have so much high praise for this film, and you know, this is the first time I saw it. I'm going to revisit this a couple more times because the message and the meaning behind this movie is very, very, very important, and it's a film that you really do just appreciate. While I was watching this movie, like I was saying, you know, I just felt like I was getting Spike Lee vibes from this. It really reminded me a lot of Do the Right Thing. You know, takes place over the course of one day. This film takes place over the course of about 20 hours, but you know, one day in the lives of these characters and what they have to go through in their lives. I just really did appreciate that. I really thought it was a fantastic film, and if you haven't seen Haine, this is a first time watch for me. I can highly recommend it. Like I said, it's a foreign film. It's gonna be in French. You're gonna have to watch this one with subtitles, but I really do think that that's something, if you can get over that hurdle, you're really gonna find a great film on the other side of that, and I promise you, you're gonna appreciate this movie. And it's definitely one of the better films I've seen in my entire life. It's gonna be a great rewatch too, just because of the beautiful cinematography. If you're a fan of cinematography, definitely check this one out. Maybe you want to check it out on this beautiful new Criterion 4K Blu-ray that we're going to talk about right now. Well, here it is, Haine on 4K Blu-ray, courtesy of the Criterion Collection. And actually, this isn't the first time this has been released on 4K Blu-ray. This has actually been released by Studio Canal, and Studio Canal's logo will pop up before this 4K Blu-ray starts to play. So I'm not too sure if Criterion and Studio Canal split the cost. They did that with other 4K releases like Mean Streets. I'm not too sure if that's the case, or if they did the scan for this and Criterion is just using their scan. I'm just not 100% sure who actually funded the scan for this, but I do know that this was previously released by Studio Canal, even though Criterion has released this previously on Blu-ray, I believe as far back as 2012, and this is Criterion release number 381, so that's pretty early in the collection, and you can see why, because this movie was destined for the Criterion Collection from the time it came out. Studio Canal, though, on this 4K transfer right out of the gate, did a phenomenal job. But before we get to that, let's look at the packaging, because, you know, we get the same packaging we've had in the past. That's one thing that Criterion does, is they never change the packaging, even when they go to a new format, DVD to Blu-ray to 4K, it's always going to look the same. You come inside, you have some paperwork right here, you're going to have a nice essay there, and the only addition now is a brand new 4K Blu-ray, whereas the Blu-ray that's packed in here, I'm pretty sure that's the previous scan of it, and that's not a bad Blu-ray, by the way. The only big difference between the Blu-ray and the 4K Blu-ray is obviously all of your extras are going to be on that Blu-ray. All the extras are previously released extras, none of them are new, but they are really good. You could just see that Criterion back in the day, they never left any stone unturned. There's a great introduction by Jodie Foster in here as well that I absolutely love seeing. I never saw it before because I'd never seen the film before, but her passion for this movie, man, it makes you passionate about it as well. And then you have a great almost hour and a half making of documentary for this, which is all I ever ask for when it comes to any sort of movie. I just want to see a making of documentary. We get all that. We get deleted and extended scenes. We also see them doing a scene, like really breaking down one of the scenes when they were filming it. That's a nice little 7-minute featurette on here as well. You get the trailers. I mean, my God, they have so many different featurettes on here. One or two of these is what we usually get now on 4K Blu-ray releases, like from major studios, but Criterion, they gave us so much on here. Yes, these aren't new extras, but if you've never seen these extras before, they are fantastic. And now another difference between the Blu-ray and the 4K Blu-ray is the Blu-ray only actually has a DTS HD 5.1 on it. That DTS HD 5.1 will carry over to the 4K Blu-ray, but now the 4K Blu-ray does feature a DTS HD 2.0, probably restoring the original audio is what I imagine they were doing. But that's pretty cool if you were somebody who didn't like the DTS HD 5.1 that was previously released and you like that 2.0 audio, which I know a lot of people do appreciate, and the Criterion Collection really loves to restore the original audio and bring it to you how it was originally heard. For people who appreciate that, you're going to be very happy with this 2.0. It is really good. I still chose to watch it with the DTS HD 5.1. I thought that was very well done, very well mixed, comes in very crisp and clear. It's not anything that's going to blow you away, but this is a very dialogue heavy film. Everything comes in crisp and clear. Whenever the audio was needed to get a little bit heavier and be a little bit bigger, I thought it was definitely picking up in those areas. I just thought it was, you know, a very good audio track. That wasn't something I was expecting to be blown away by. What I was really here for was the visuals. As I was saying, the Blu-ray is actually really, really, really good. It's a very good scan that's on that previously released Blu-ray. I mean, very impressive stuff. The black and white is gorgeous in this film. Now, when you go to the 4K Blu-ray, this might actually be the best looking black and white 4K Blu-ray I have ever seen, surpassing Night of the Hunter by Kino Lorber. I always said that was the best looking 4K Blu-ray I'd ever seen that featured black and white. But this might be it, and you're going to notice this right away within the first 5 minutes of the film when we get these super close-ups and we're actually looking at the gun for the first time. I mean, I've never seen a gun coming more clearer than this, and actually because it comes in so clear, it makes it feel more realistic and less like a prop. It actually makes it feel more violent, and what this movie is exploring with violence, I feel like that was very important, and this 4K Blu-ray actually changed my perspective of that and actually making it feel more realistic, because it feels like I can actually step into this film, even though it's in black and white, how clear everything is, how the skin looks, how natural it looks. We maintain a level of grain, but it's not super grainy. It's literally the perfect amount of grain. This is the second day in a row I have watched a 10 out of 10 visuals on 4K Blu-ray. It's actually, I'm getting really lucky, and if you guys picked up both of these, you got really lucky as well, because that never happens. Usually one of these will disappoint you, but no, this did not. Actually, this Criterion 4K Blu-ray overall, I am just so impressed with it. The visuals are definitely the big standout, because we had a Blu-ray in here that would still be considered like a 7.5, 8 out of 10 Blu-ray, really good quality, and to still notice a big jump to that 4K Blu-ray, that should just tell you how good a quality that 4K Blu-ray really is when it comes to the HDR and the Dolby Vision. Just so impressive. No matter which way you go, whether it be with HDR or Dolby Vision, you are just going to be blown away by it. These are amazing visuals. You pack that in with good packaging, great extras, especially if you're a fan of extras. You're going to be so happy with that. The only thing is like you're getting the same DTS HD 5.1 audio track that's been following this around, but if you're one of those people who love them restoring the original audio, now you're going to have a new DTS HD 2.0 on here that you could appreciate and enjoy. So for those people, you're going to be very happy as well. And so far, overall, this is one of the best releases of 2024 from the Criterion Collection. I am so happy I checked this film out. Obviously, your mileage may vary with the film. If this isn't a film for you, you're not going to enjoy this 4K Blu-ray, but if this is a film that you've been waiting to check out on 4K Blu-ray, it is by far the definitive edition. Now, the only thing is, remember, if you have that Studio Canal release, you have the same scan. I haven't looked at what the extras look like on the Studio Canal release. I imagine it's probably a little bit less than this because Criterion made some of these extras way back when, so those are, you know, previously released extras by the Criterion Collection. I don't know for sure. I'm sure even Studio Canal has some of their own different types of extras, but the scan itself should be exactly the same. So if you saw those visuals, you know how damn good they are, and you have no reason to grab this Criterion Collection 4K Blu-ray unless you want to. I know plenty of people who love to double dip, and you're going to be very happy that you did with this one. How would I rate this 4K Blu-ray on a score of 1 to 10? I would give this one a very solid 9.5 out of 10. Really knocked my socks off on this. The only thing I can say that was a little bit disappointing is the audio, but that's really, like I just said, like just a very, very minor complaint. Me just poking holes in there because I had a great time with the film. The visuals blew me away. The packaging, standard Criterion packaging, they never need to do more than that. If they do, just whip out the digibook. Don't pull a Citizen Kane or a Train Spotting on us. Either way, good packaging, just a great release from the Criterion Collection. If you haven't seen Haine, I can definitely recommend it. And thank you guys all so much for checking out this video. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn notifications on, share this video if you could. You can even become a channel member like John Doe Juggalo, Jason Martin, and Mr. Smelly Potato, or you can even become a channel director like Frank Rodriguez from Frank's Media and Reviews. He's a great guy. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. Make sure you subscribe to John Doe Juggalo's channel. We also have a Friends of the Channel tier, which really does help us out as well. But if you got no money to throw our way, guys, don't worry about it. We just appreciate you checking out this video. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to get out in those streets and tell your friends about us. And then after that, we'll be seeing you around.